All right, let's dive into something a little different today.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah, it's dealing with disrespect.
Hmm.
Something I'm sure we've all dealt with.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And you sent over this fascinating article on Stoic approaches to disrespect.
Mm-hmm.
And it really got me thinking about how we can, command respect
Yeah.
without demanding it,
Right.
especially when you've got people constantly testing those boundaries.
Oh, yeah, pushing those limits all the time.
Yeah, and this piece actually presents 5 strategies straight from those ancient Stoics.
Oh, cool.
I'm really excited to unpack these with you.
Yeah, should be interesting.
Yeah, so the author kicks things off by digging into the psychology behind disrespect.
Okay, so what are they saying?
Well, they argue that people who are constantly disrespecting others are often driven by their own insecurities,
Yeah, makes sense.
like arrogance
Oh, for sure.
or even a deep need for validation.
Uh-huh.
What do you think about that?
I think the author's spot on. It's fascinating how Stoicism encourages us to see these behaviors not as personal attacks, but kind of symptoms of something deeper going on within that person.
Right, it's like they're projecting.
Exactly. We can't control their actions, but we can control our reactions.
Yeah,
Instead of mirroring their negativity, we can cultivate self-control
right.
and recognize that this is just a part of human nature.
Yeah, I love that. It's really a powerful way to reframe the situation. Instead of trying to change them, we're mastering our own response.
It's all about taking back that control.
Exactly, which leads us to the first tactic. Silence as a weapon.
Oh, that's interesting.
Kind of counterintuitive, right?
Yeah.
Because our instinct when someone's being disrespectful is to defend ourselves.
Oh, for sure. You want to fight back.
Yeah, but the source makes this great point that reaction plays right into their hands.
Oh, I see.
Feeds their need for control and drama.
Makes them feel powerful.
Exactly. Silence, on the other hand, disrupts those expectations completely.
It's like you're pulling the rug out from under them.
Yeah, it's like they're coming at you with all this energy trying to get a rise out of you,
Right.
and you just meet them with nothing.
Silence.
Yeah, and the source uses this phrase, controlled silence.
Mm.
And it's not about avoidance or being passive.
Okay.
It's this deliberate choice to break that cycle of negativity.
You're in control.
Yeah, I'm curious, have you ever witnessed someone effectively use silence in a conflict?
Oh, absolutely.
How did it change the dynamic?
In my line of work, I often see negotiations turn into these shouting matches.
Yeah, where the loudest person wins.
Exactly. But I once saw the CEO just completely disarm this aggressive investor with silence.
Wow.
The investor was ranting about profits,
Hmm.
and the CEO just calmly listened, made eye contact, and waited.
Just waited it out.
Waited. And, after a few minutes, the investor just ran out of steam.
Huh.
The tension in the room just completely dissipated, and they actually started having a productive conversation.
Wow, that's such a vivid example.
It really worked.
Shows how silence can shift that power dynamic, especially when someone's trying to control the conversation through aggression,
Yeah, they lose their power.
and it creates space for that more rational approach.
For sure.
Now, building on this idea of non-reaction, the source offers another powerful tool,
Okay.
the silent stare.
Interesting.
What's interesting is it's not just a blank look,
Uh-huh.
it's about conveying certainty,
Okay.
composure, really setting a boundary.
I like that.
Yeah, because a lot of people use disrespect to gauge your response,
Right.
see if they can control
You're
you.
looking for weakness.
Exactly. But when you meet them
Mm-hmm.
with this steady, unflinching gaze, it sends a really powerful message.
Like, I see right through you.
Yeah, I'm not playing your game.
Yeah.
The author points out that even our body language can often signal submission to disrespect.
Interesting.
We shrink back, we avoid eye contact.
Trying to make yourself small.
Yeah, almost as if we're trying to avoid further conflict. But the silent stare is a way of reclaiming our physical presence.
I see.
It's like saying, I am here, I'm not intimidated,
Right.
and you don't have the power to diminish me.
That's powerful.
Yeah, why do you think nonverbal communication like the silent stare is so potent in these situations?
Well, a lot of communication is nonverbal, right?
Yeah.
Our body language, our tone of voice,
Uh-huh.
they often speak louder than our words.
Yeah, absolutely.
And when words are being used to disrespect or manipulate,
Right.
those nonverbal cues become even more important.
Like you're cutting through the noise.
Exactly.
Communicating on a deeper level.
Yeah, more instinctive.
And speaking of challenging conventional wisdom,
Okay, what's next?
this next tactic really resonated with me.
Right.
refusing to explain yourself.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah. The source points out that we often feel pressured to justify our choices.
Yeah, like everyone has a right to judge you.
Right, like everyone needs to approve.
Yeah.
But the Stoics believed that true validation comes from within. Our choices are valid because they align with our values.
Not because someone else approves of them.
Exactly. It's a powerful reminder that we don't owe anyone an explanation for our lives.
Oh, sure.
And the source provides this simple but effective phrase to use when people demand those justifications.
Okay, what is it?
Because I decided to.
Because I decided to.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
you're setting a boundary.
You're taking control.
Yeah, it's almost like saying, my reasons are my own, and your opinion doesn't factor into the equation.
I love that.
It shifts the focus from seeking approval to owning our choices.
It's freeing.
It really is.
It is.
What's so freeing about this concept is that it's about recognizing that your internal compass is what truly matters.
Your own values.
Exactly.
Like what others think.
Yeah. You don't need to waste time and energy defending your decisions to people who aren't invested in your well-being.
It's true.
And this ties into a core Stoic principle.
Which is?
Virtue is its own reward.
I like that.
It means doing the right thing, living in accordance with your values, is inherently fulfilling, regardless of external validation.
Powerful stuff.
Yeah. And this brings up a really important point about how we define success.
Okay.
It's so easy to get caught up in those external markers of achievement.
Yeah, like money and fame.
Right. But the Stoics remind us that true success is about living in accordance with our principles.
It's about inner peace.
Exactly. And that leads perfectly into the next tactic. So this next tactic can be a tough one, but it's really crucial when dealing with persistent disrespect.
Okay.
Strategic distance.
I see.
The source acknowledges that stepping back from relationships, even harmful ones, can be really difficult.
Yeah, for sure. Especially when it's like family or close friends.
Yes, exactly.
Or even those long-term professional relationships.
Right, you feel obligated to maintain those connections.
There's that societal pressure to just kind of keep things going no matter what.
Yeah, like we should just be able to handle any level of negativity.
Or just power through it.
But the source emphasizes a different perspective.
Okay, what's that?
They suggest that sometimes creating distance is the most self-respecting thing you can do.
Interesting.
It's about taking control of what you allow into your life.
Yeah, protecting yourself.
Exactly. And this is where Stoicism offers this powerful shift in thinking.
Okay,
So instead of focusing on what you're giving up,
right.
consider what you're gaining.
The
The space to heal, energy to focus on those positive relationships, and the clarity to see the situation for what it truly is.
You know, it's like you're stepping out of this toxic environment and finally able to breathe again.
Yeah, exactly.
Really is.
From your perspective, when does distance become the healthiest choice?
I would say when that relationship, regardless of its nature, begins to erode your sense of self-worth,
Okay.
when that negativity starts to outweigh any positive aspects,
Yeah.
and you constantly find yourself drained or questioning your own value.
Right, like it's chipping away at your confidence.
Exactly. Distance in these cases is about prioritizing your well-being, creating a healthier environment for yourself.
It's not about punishing the other person.
Right.
It's about protecting yourself and your mental health.
Exactly. Recognizing that you deserve to be treated with respect. And
Yeah.
sometimes that means removing yourself from situations where that's not happening.
It's such a valuable reminder.
It is.
Now, the fifth and final tactic focuses on both our physical and mental presence,
Okay.
holding your head high.
I like that.
It really ties together many of the principles we've been discussing
Yeah.
about embodying that inner strength.
Projecting confidence.
Right. Not arrogance, but that quiet
Yeah.
certainty in your worth.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
The source highlights how our body language can often signal submission to disrespect.
Like what? Slouching?
Yeah, slumped shoulders, avoiding eye contact,
Right.
almost like we're making ourselves smaller to avoid further conflict.
Yeah, trying to disappear.
Right? It's like subconsciously we're accepting that we deserve to be treated poorly.
Wow. Yeah, I've never thought of it that way.
But by consciously adopting that posture of self-assurance,
Okay.
standing tall, making eye contact, moving with purpose,
Hmm.
we communicate a very different message.
Like I'm not going to be walked all over.
Exactly. It's about taking up space unapologetically.
I like that.
You've done a lot of work on nonverbal communication. So how does this physical presence tie into projecting confidence?
Well, think about the leaders and public figures that you admire.
The ones who just command respect.
Yeah, effortlessly.
Yeah,
And it's often not even about what they say.
it's how they carry themselves.
Exactly. Their body language conveys this sense of inner strength and self-belief.
Uh-huh.
It draws people to them.
They radiate that sense of knowing their worth.
Exactly. And it's not about faking it till you make it.
It's about embodying that confidence from the inside out.
Yeah, it's got to be genuine.
And what's so fascinating about these 5 tactics is how they weave together to create what the source calls an unbreakable presence.
Interesting.
It's not about being invulnerable to criticism or disagreement,
Sure.
but about developing this inner strength.
Right.
Makes you less reactive to negativity.
Like you're unfazed by it.
Exactly. Remember, the Stoics weren't advocating for becoming emotionless robots.
No.
They understood that life throws challenges our way, and people will act in ways that we don't like.
That's just part of life.
Right. But the key is to choose how we respond,
Don't let it control you.
instead of getting caught up in that whirlwind of negativity.
Hey.
We find that calm center within ourselves.
Inner peace.
Exactly. And I think that's what Marcus Aurelius was getting at with that famous quote.
Which one?
You have power over your mind, not outside events.
Oh, yeah. Love that one.
Realize this, and you will find strength.
Such a powerful reminder that true strength comes from within.
It is. And when we shift our focus from trying to change other people
Uh-huh.
to mastering our own reactions,
Yeah.
we access a level of control that most people never experience.
Like you're taking back control.
Exactly. And this is where the Stoic idea of emotional discipline comes into play.
Okay.
Because disrespect often triggers these really strong emotions in us.
Oh, yeah.
Anger, frustration, even self-doubt.
All of the above.
It's easy to get swept up in that reactive cycle.
Right.
Let those emotions dictate our action.
Makes you do things you regret later.
But the Stoics believe that while these emotions are natural, they don't have to control us.
Okay.
They saw emotional discipline as a key to freedom.
Interesting.
There's that quote from Seneca that comes to mind. He who is brave is free.
I like that.
I think it speaks to the freedom that comes with emotional discipline,
Yeah.
and the freedom to choose your response, to act with intention, and to not be ruled by those fleeting emotions.
It's about being in control.
Absolutely, to be able to face any challenge, any person, any situation with that inner calm
Yeah.
and composure.
Mm,
That's true strength.
I think so too.
Yeah, it's like their disrespect is more about them than it is about us.
Right. It's a reflection of their own internal state.
Exactly. And by choosing to respond with strength and composure, we're breaking that cycle of negativity.
We're not letting them drag us down to their level.
Right. It doesn't mean we condone their behavior,
Of course not.
but we're not letting it dictate our emotional state.
We have a choice.
Yeah. We can react in kind and just perpetuate that negativity.
Right.
Or we can choose a different path.
One that's more in line with our values.
Exactly. A path that preserves our inner peace.
It's fascinating how this all ties back to that concept of unbreakable presence.
Yeah. The source kept coming back to that.
It's not about becoming some kind of emotionless robot.
No, definitely not.
But it is about cultivating that inner resilience.
That's strength.
Yeah, to help us navigate these tough situations with grace and composure.
It's like building a force field around our self-worth,
I like that analogy.
that deflects all that negativity and allows us to move through the world with more confidence.
More clarity.
Yeah, and that's what I find so empowering about Stoicism.
It gives us the tools.
Yeah, it provides a framework.
For responding to disrespect in a way that strengthens our sense of self.
Instead of diminishing it,
Exactly. We stop seeking validation from others.
because we find it within.
Exactly. It's a profound shift in perspective.
It really is.
It's not about forcing people to treat us a certain way.
Right.
It's about cultivating that inner strength,
So their opinions become less impactful.
like water off a duck's back.
Yeah, and ultimately I think that's what this whole deep dive has been about.
What do you mean?
Empowering ourselves to navigate disrespect
Ah, I see.
in a way that preserves our well-being,
Right. Protects our mental health.
allows us to live with more intention.
More integrity.
So to recap, we've explored 5 powerful tactics from the Stoics.
Silence, the stare, refusing to explain,
Strategic distance.
and holding your head high.
And remember what ties all these tactics together.
What's that?
That core principle of mastering our internal response.
Not trying to control external events.
Exactly, which is so much more effective.
Because let's face it, we can't control how other people behave,
We really can't.
but we can control how we react.
And the source reminded us that respect isn't demanded, it's embodied.
Love that.
The more solid our inner foundation.
The less that external negativity affects us.
It's like that saying,
Which one?
no one can make you feel inferior without your consent.
So true.
So as we wrap up this deep dive,
Oh, wait.
I want to leave you with a question to ponder.
All right, shoot.
How would your life change if you stopped seeking validation from others
Okay.
and instead focused on cultivating that unshakable inner strength?
It's an invitation to explore the power of Stoicism
Yeah.
in your own life.
To discover how these ancient principles can empower you to navigate the complexities of the modern world.
It's been a fascinating exploration.
It really has. Until next time.
Keep diving deep.
And remember, the power to command respect ultimately lies within you.